three. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I believe we are live. Hola, hola, Nicaragua. We are live here in Bilwi, Nicaragua. I'm seeing if anyone's going to join. I don't know how the video looks. I'm on YouTube. Let's see if I'm on YouTube. I'm not seeing anybody. Hello. Reporting to you live from Nicaragua, the Convo Couch here. We are here. How's it look? Does it look clean? Yeah, we got. Pasa says está limpio. So we are here in Loma Verde, Bilwi, which is the native name for the city, indigenous name for the city. What's it called? Pero era la boca or la cabeza. Oh, okay. Yeah. So on Google Maps, it's kind of hard to find. It's in the Northeast Autonomous Region. We are here. We took, yeah, it's like on the Caribbean side, in the Gulf almost, basically, or I guess beyond a little bit south of. They call it the Caribbean, Northeast Caribbean side. We are in Nicaragua. We are here, the Convo Couch. Puerto Cabezas is the official name. If you look it up on Google, Puerta Cabezas, and we're in the largest voting center in Nicaragua, and it's the largest voting center because there's 30 of these little spots, 30 tables that people can go to go vote. And we're right smack dab in the autonomous region out here. And guess what? They have electricity out here. They have internet. I'm able to live stream here. I don't know. We may be the first people to live stream in Nicaragua in the autonomous region zone, fam. We may be, maybe. So I'm here, Jonathan Mayorka here. I'm here with Fiorella. Also, do you want to come here and talk a little bit to our fams online? Online, Pasta, you want to come over here? I'm here with my.
What's up? It's just awesome kind of being here right now.
Your thoughts on everything so far. I mean, our entire trip. I mean, we can go over that, and then what we're doing
Yeah.
here, right?
I mean, everything since we got here has just been kind of truly amazing and just eye opening. Yesterday we flew out here to Bilwi. Uh, Unfortunately, we had our cameras held out at the airport for a little while because they didn't know what we were coming in with. They didn't report it.
That was about 2 days ago when we flew into Nicaragua.
So we flew in. They kind of held our camera stuff, but we went the very next day and we did the whole rounds as far as kind of we went to dinner. We met a lot of the people that are involved, a lot of the election integrity activists. Some people have been doing this for a long time. People who've gone to delegations to Venezuela, to Honduras, whatnot. So we met a lot of great people. We were waiting on Caleb. We still haven't seen our boy Caleb yet. We're gonna go see him when we get back to Managua today. But we met a lot of great people who understand the whole process and kind of explain to us what's going on. But I think it's still good the Convo Couch is here because the way we kind of ask the questions and then what we do. They flew us out to Bilwi, which is on the northeast part of Nicaragua, the indigenous autonomous zone, whatnot.
Autonomous zone, which we're going to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
I want Fee to talk about
Oh,
how
yeah.
this is kind of like an interesting government kind of community that they're building right now. But yes,
Decentralized, right? It's avoids.
decentralized, centralized. It's like there's like a border.
Yeah.
There's like a line there.
And it seems like the government works in harmony with the people over here because they even said when the hurricanes happened last year, two of them, the government showed up right away to help the people, whatnot. But yet they still have their own autonomy, get to make their own rules and the specifics of what they need. So we're here in Bilwi, and this is the largest voting center or voting precinct, whatever you want to call it, in the country. There's actually like 30 little small little rooms is whatnot. And we just came from another center, and it was kind of amazing. We wanted to see how long it took for people to vote. Of course, we asked all the questions about everything else, the process, the ID, the thumbprints. You have to actually put your thumbprint identification after you use your identification card to check on in. But we clocked one person under 9 minutes, John. What do you think about that?
Fucking amazing, dude. How is this country? Okay, so Nicaragua, and they said this themselves, right? Nicaragua supposedly is in Central America is like the second poorest country,
Yeah.
second poorest country in Central America. Their election system is way fucking better. But is our opinion, and from what I've been seeing, yes, They don't have tabulation machines here. They don't have. It's all hand counted ballots. They're all ballots, and there's multiple points of security and a clear what's it called? The path of the ballot. What's it
Oh,
called?
chain of custody.
Chain of custody.
They have all different parties here represented, so it's not just like one party counting whatnot. Regardless of what you hear in the mainstream media,
Regardless of what you see from propagandists from CNN who are saying that this is a sham election, we're here. I'm battling that narrative right now. I'm calling all those people propagandists. Caitlin Wu, who wrote a CNN article just referencing the OAS and other bullshit fucking NGOs and propagandist outlets. Yeah, you're wrong.
what's the reason they gave, Johnny?
Yeah, no, they didn't give no reasons.
Generalized statement. A generalized statement. Oh, these are no good.
They just reference people in these groups saying, "Yeah, it's a sham election," or it's a parody of an election. If you look up that article, look it up. Nicaragua is set to have a parody of an election in quotes, according to election officials.
I gotta send a message out to all the patriots out there who go, "Oh my God, socialism, communism." They have an actual fucking democracy here. They have an actual representative government, while we in the United States do not. So you can just see this. I mean, look where we're at, and yet we have an efficient, quick, transparent, trackable, verifiable election.
And yeah, so people as soon as people register to get their ID, they're registered to vote. So and it depends on where you live, where they send you to the certain voting center, and that's where you go vote, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of go over the whole process, right? So they walk in over there. You can go to that thing, or you can see it online. Actually, the one of our escorts was kind of showing me that. He's like, yeah, you can pull it up online and see exactly where to vote and exactly which junta are the rooms that they go and vote in. And there's a table there, and there's 3 representatives from a party and two people that handle the ballots. But anyway, so you can see which one, right? So you figure out where you're going to vote based on where you live, and then you go to make a line to the junta. Now, there's not very many long lines here because there's 30 juntas. So imagine just like how many election workers, how many jobs they're creating right now by doing this system right now. There's 5 people in each junta, and there's 30 of them, and that's just in this one voting center. And then there's 5 head election officials here overseeing everything, head supervisors, and then there's even more. What is it? Who are the people in front? Remember? Uh, Starts with a P. Procuradora electoral. So electoral procedure, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, there's all these people doing these jobs, right? So basically, you go, you find your line, you find the junta that you're supposed to go to, you get in line, and then they go and show you the ballot. Well, they go. Okay, so I took a video of this. Look out for my Twitter, Jonathan Mayorka. It's in our description. I'm gonna be posting a lot of videos debunking the whole narrative because the narrative they're putting out is bullshit. So you get in line, you find your junta, you get in line, and you go and to the table, and basically they have a packet, a big packet of paper, and it's 25 like images of IDs. So imagine your ID was on a little piece of paper, and there's 25 of them, and I think it's in alphabetical order. They find your ID. You show them your ID. They find your ID. They mark where you got to sign. You sign. They give you the ballot. They tell you exactly what races there are in the ballot, and then they tell you how after you pick whatever you want, you fold it, and then you put it in that box. So there's a box in there, and then there's a place for them to sit down and have a little privacy with the 3-fold thing, and they can vote. Once they're done with that, they fold it, they put it in the box, they walk over, and they get black ink on their thumb to show that they voted and to show that they can't vote again. That's a security feature there that we've heard about it in Iran, right? They're doing it here in Nicaragua too. So then after that, the way it works, each junta, so each room, there's 30 rooms here, like I said, they tally up the ballots there in that box. Then they mark, and there's 3 representative parties, and they tally up the votes, and then they put it on a acta se llama. So it's like kind of like a tally. It's a tally of what votes came through on that piece of paper. Each junta has a paper, and then the supervisors come verify those. So there's a verification at each step. I forgot to mention that when they give you the ballot, they stamp a number on the back of the ballot, and they also the two election officials that are giving you the ballot, they sign. They put their signature of authorization in there. So it's a whole verification process that is pretty. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Why isn't this happening in the United States? So we're just going to show that stark contrast here. Look out for me on Twitter and the Convo Couch and everybody else here. I've already posted something. Did you guys know that 98% of Nicaragua has or has electricity?
Yeah.
And
It's
then
95%
in the national territorial region, and then because I'm sure the autonomous region has less, right? But and then over 50% is renewable energy, and their goal for 2023 is to get to 70%. So that's just ambitious and amazing that they can have half of their energy resources in the national territory uh, 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 country with energy.
I just want to say, like, shame on you, Katie Porter and Rokana, for voting for the Renunciar Act, imposing sanctions. But speaking to a lot of people here, they said they were ready for this day. They knew it was coming. They were ready for this day, and they are prepared. And these people are proud, and they're not going to back down. And it's just awesome to see them all just like participating in the democracy process over here, which is secure, verifiable, trackable, the whole 9 yards. We even talked about in the room yesterday. We were in a room and we were throwing questions at election officials yesterday, like 10 questions. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that?
They were really patient.
They were patient, and they were also very confident in what they were doing too, as well.
Absolutely. Oh, super confident. Like they've been doing this for a while now.
And in America, it's like, well, we do this. Well, what about the provisional ballots?
I'm gonna have to. You can email me about that.
Here's my card.
Here's my email, and then they take a week to respond, and then that's what they fucking do.
You don't hear from them. How many times you?
And there's the who printed the ballots? I gotta ask about that. But
yeah, I'm gonna go check out a ballot. That's what I'm gonna go do right now. In fact, right now, I'm gonna take a look because I haven't even inspected a ballot yet. So that's something I want to
do that live. Let's see. Fam, do you want to say anything?
You guys have pretty much said everything. Let's see. Let me see what else he said. It takes the other voting center was a little bit smaller, so it took a little bit longer for people to vote. About 10 minutes. Sometimes, I mean, if there's really long lines, maybe a half hour, but that's very rare. Never, ever, ever an hour or anything close to that. Mostly, it's about like 5 minutes that it takes to vote, and the people are very, very helpful. There's different positions. They have the procurador electoral, which is the main overseer. That would be like equivalent to the lead vote supervisor. And then we're the second person is just like the people that are like the voter people that follow them around. This is a procurador electoral right here. So he's saying all the citizens that are here can vote in here, right? They can also check this online, and they also have computers at the very front where they can check. So this is the Policía Electoral. They control who goes in and out of the junta, who goes in and out of this room in particular. So go ahead, and they're going to go ahead and go in. Let's go. Él quiere ver la boleta. Yeah. So there's the ballot. Y dime, ¿esa boleta tiene las fotos de toda la gente que va a votar aquí? De los candidatos. Okay. So this is the candidate ballot.
Yes.
I thought you meant voting ballot. So that's the candidate ballot.
Okay. Is there a voting ballot now? Is the voting ballot different?
That's the ballot.
That's the ballot.
Yeah.
Right. That's the candidate ballot. Yeah. I thought you meant like the person's. Never mind.
Yeah, but they vote on this, right?
Yeah, they vote on this. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know where these are made? You asked that?
Oh, yeah.
¿Dónde hacen estos? ¿Dónde lo crean?
En Managua, de ahí lo mandaron Managua, nivel central, sí. Privado, sí, privado.
It's a private company that makes them. Okay, pero es una compañía que es aprobada por el gobierno. O sea, tienen un sistema de seguro. Is it a company that is approved by the government? It has a system of security. Está bien. That's what I was referring to. So this is a roster right here. La gente tiene que ver y ver dónde está su nombre y encontrar su fotografía. Si no están ahí, no pueden votar. So if they're not in this roster, they can't vote here. Okay.
So this is what I was talking about with the IDs. That there's
Right.
There are people that you need to show your ID, and then they'll find you in this booklet, and then you have to sign. So tengas que firmar.
Yeah.
Después dan el boleto, ¿no? Los haces un stamp, ¿no? Yeah. Yeah. Los dos lo firman, ¿no? Yeah, they both sign it, and then they go vote.
This is the urna. This is a ballot box. So that
And I'm gonna take my ballot aquí.
aquí. Y nadie toca esto hasta el final, ¿verdad? Okay. Okay, so they are in charge of assuring that everything's good with this ballot box right here.
Is the government paying them, or how's that?
Oh, una pregunta. ¿Ustedes son pagados por el gobierno o lo hacen voluntariamente? ¿Voluntario? Ajá. Oh, okay.
Cuando cierran a las 6, a las 7.
There's a process that he's going to show us in a minute.
Yeah. Los actas, ¿no?
So that's the actas, so similar to what I reported. Okay. So these are the actas that they fax the results by party. Okay. Y cada junta tiene su acta. And every junta has their acta. So every room has their voting tally.
What's it stand for in the army? It's CSC, and he has a
Centro
Consejo Supremo Electoral.
Consejo Supremo Electoral. So, right. So they're members of the Supreme Electoral Council. Y los de atrás son del partido fiscales. And the people behind them are representatives of the parties.
So it's different parties?
Yeah, they are different parties.
They are different
They're the
parties?
fiscales.
Okay, and then the CSC
I don't know
is
the
They're all members of the Centro Electoral. There you go.
okay, and then
They're
there's-
not.
So it's two different parties here, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Este es el cambio que estaban comentando. Este es el cambio que hay aquí en la región. Que hay un partido más agregado.
Right. So regionally, on a national level, the electoral system is the same, but regionally, they added one party, un nuevo miembro de regionalmente aquí. Yeah. Yeah. So regionally, they just added a party, but it's a region thing. Okay. Okay. Gracias. All right. So you guys can see that process. It's pretty streamlined. It's very similar to what I covered in Peru, essentially. They have like las actas, the tallies, by room, and then they get sent to the regional area. And then once they're out of the regional area, they get also sent to the national center in Managua. So just so you guys know how that works. Very, very streamlined process. Vote by paper ballots, no electronic voting machines.
Two
Um,
parties in there too. So
two parties, there could be more. I was told, depending on how many parties they are. They added a regional party member, is what they were saying. That's by region. That party does not necessarily exist because this is the autonomous zone. So this is an indigenous autonomous zone, meaning that the people, the national government cooperates with whatever the community and the autonomous zone wants. They don't interfere too much unless they are asked to. So, or they like Ortega, a lot of the people here, because he lets them have the autonomy that they want. And so the indigenous people have decided how to kind of rule their community. It's kind of like what we would want in America, where we talk about decentralized power. The power in Nicaragua is extremely decentralized, even though it is a socialist setup. The federal government, the national government, right, does not overstep their control. They allow each autonomous region to have their own judges, to have their own council members, to have their own government. So they have complete autonomy to how they want to do things. And I was asking Mirna, who is a doctor, and she came to speak with us yesterday via Zoom. And she was hold on, and she was actually talking in depth about this. So we're going to show that video as well. Jonny recorded it, but she talked in depth about how that happened and how it was the community that demanded this sort of organization, and then worked in tandem with the government, the Sandinistas government of Nicaragua. So the community decided the structure first, and then the Sandinistas government cooperated. So I think they're going to go over there and look at what? Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else, Jonny. We can just continue showing you guys what's going on. This is pretty much the same process throughout Nicaragua. We're here in Bilwi in the Northeast Caribbean region, but it's essentially the same process all over the country. The exact same process. The only difference is they may have different parties or candidates depending on the region, the necessities. But for the president and the assembly, it's essentially the same.
They got some decent food here. It's a lot of bananas and everything. Plantains, plátano. So yeah, I mean, this has been an amazing trip so far. Totally worth it. Y'all make sure you're on Rokfin. We're not live on Rokfin right now. We're gonna be posting some premium content. I just need to post it. It's been so busy. Our days have been packed with activities to do and everything. So yeah, what we're seeing here though is pretty astounding. It amazes me. You know, I can't believe the U.S. has like the election system they do. Like it's by design, and it's just a shame. It just really just shows you like you know, this shows you what we could have. You know, because they use the school. So this is what the school looks like here in Loma Verde and Bilwi. And yeah, I don't know. The people have been really nice to us. Um, you know, people have been really kind. It is an autonomous region, so there are a couple, you know, officers with like AKs out, which is cool. But just you know, I'm just telling you what I'm observing. Uh, Everything's safe though. We've been safe. We've been completely safe. We took a flight here in a pretty small plane. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna put some footage of that on Rokfin too. Yeah, just look out for Rokfin, ROKFIN. The links are in the description below. ROKFIN.com/the Convo Couch if you're a new viewer. And that is pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty interesting here. I've been seeing a lot of support everywhere I go for Daniel Ortega. By the way, I've been seeing a lot of support for him, and I've been learning more about the history of what's happened here with the neoliberals. They call them neoliberals, and because I didn't introduce that term to them, they use that term, and that's what they call the opposition. They call the opposition neoliberals that were, you know, killing people. They were killing people on this. That's more into the history, and I wanna interview somebody so they can really tell us the story, so you guys know the story here of what happened before.
I just wanted to say that I don't see a way. Find it very hard to believe that the accusations and allegations by the U.S. government that the Nicaraguan elections are unfair, and that the people are extremely, you know, subjected to abuse, and that the people do not want this government. I have a hard time just having experienced the last few days with how people are really, really love their government and they're very happy. and the way this process is so streamlined, and there's paper ballots and there's security. For instance, when they're transporting ballots in Las Actas, there's multiple people on the bus transporting them. It's not any one or two people bullshit. They know exactly what's happening, when it's happening. There are representatives of each party there. So there's also the national police accompanies them, as well as the police of here. So honestly, I have a very hard time believing the allegations by the U.S. government. People like Rokfin and Katie Porter, who voted to sanction the Nicaraguan government at the behest of the empire that is attempting to overthrow the Sandinistas regime. I have a very hard time thinking that these elections are in any way unfair compared to the United States. These elections are eons ahead. They're way better. They are secure. And the people who constantly say that a voter ID, that an ID is fascist, you're calling this country a fascist. They're using thumbprints to verify people. There's no vote by mail. There's no ballot harvesting. They have 1 day of voting. And honestly, it seems to work better that way. And they do this because they need to have security. And people are eligible to vote at 16 years of age, by the way, which I think is something the United States should also do. But yeah, I have a very hard time believing any of the allegations by the US government. And it's disgusting that so-called progressives are actually okay with sanctioning, which is seize war, and it's only going to hurt the people of Nicaragua. But one of the things that Nicaragua has that Venezuela and other countries didn't have is they have autonomous zones. They are self-sufficient in many ways. They don't depend a lot on imports, even though they have been suffering massively. They're the second poorest country in Central America. They're really autonomous, meaning they're self-sufficient. I've seen a lot of solar panels. I have seen people to pretty much produce their own goods and services, which is why I think that this will fail. As far as analysis go, I have a hard time believing that it's going to this wouldn't be a victory for the Sandinistas, considering the level of support they have, and in relation to the people that were jailed. Right, the people that were jailed, they were jailed because of murder and lynchings that they did to the Sandinistas, that the opposition did. And one of the requisites for forgiveness, because they gave amnesty, the Sandinistas government went against some of the own people who wanted some sort of, justice. Ortega gave amnesty to these people on the condition that they do not repeat the same offenses. And a lot of these people have repeated the same offenses, which is why they're in jail in attempts to overthrow the government. Did you want to say anything?
No, I was just going to piggyback on that and say, yeah, he threw a lot of the NGOs out that didn't want to disclose where their finances were coming from.
Right. That was a big reason that he jailed people, was because they weren't disclosing that they were getting foreign money to overthrow the government. That's why they jailed people, because they were trying to overthrow the government and they weren't disclosing where they were getting funds for their what is it called, nonprofit. They get a nonprofit, but they're not disclosing their funds, which is malicious.
And that money is used to cause chaos. And we talked to a lot of people here. They exercised a lot of restraint, the police, the military. They didn't just go strike back at people. And a lot of people praise Ortega for doing that. It's kind of similar to what Xi Jinping did in Hong Kong. They didn't just go in and go crazy and remove the agitators. They let them expose themselves. And when the people of Nicaragua saw what was going on, they got really upset. And they saw it's like, oh, this is wrong. So that's why, all these NGOs, when you hear people like Cory Booker, remember, I get my information from the OAS. That's CIA light. That's where the money's coming from. If the CIA, the Pentagon funding it, they're funding chaos. And as we know, whether it be Trump, Clinton, Obama, and now Joe Zombie Biden, they don't care. They want to cause chaos in these countries and call them the tyranny of the trioca of tyranny? Come on.
The OAS is a sham organization.
Yeah.
The OAS is a fraud organization. And I'm putting on the record that. Okay?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say.
All right. So
by the way, so we were in this room over here and we saw like 3 CSEs and 1 fiscal party over here. So I went to another room where it was the opposite, where it was 3 fiscal parties and 2 CSEs. So it's not overbearing just one party over another. So that was something I saw. No mail-in ballots, no drop boxes. We didn't see any drop boxes. And so that's, security in these elections. And something that's been really endearing is seeing a lot of handicapped people get out here to vote. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They're struggling, but they still want to vote. They take pride in voting here. Everybody's loving the vote here. And the last election the last spot we went to, it was a Sunday where there's church. There was still a ton of people there early, and it was so efficient, rapido.
Right. So what I will give the U.S. For their election system is that they're very ADA compliant. So maybe out here, they're not very ADA compliant. So that's something that I will say, and that could be worked on, that could be improved upon. But even then, the people who are with some disabilities, uh, they're still coming out to vote.
Yeah.
And here, they're actually giving preference. They're like, "Oh, we put you to the front of the line, so you can get in quickly and get out quickly." They actually let them go to the straight to vote, and it's very easy for them. And you already saw the process; it's very easy.
And that just shows you what's at stake here, how important it is to these people to get out and vote. They believe their lives dependent on it, and that's why they're here, no matter to participate in this process over here. And they've told us how so many things have changed in the last 15 years, and it's pretty amazing.
Well, the culture here, we were speaking to somebody before, which we're going to post all this stuff. We didn't want to go live before, but now we're live. Um, we weren't sure if we could actually, but someone was saying, it's like a party because she's seeing her colleagues here because she worked at the university, and she was like, yeah, it was like, oh, let's take a selfie. I voted. And they all hold up their thumb with the black. It's all black print. So it's
Yeah.
not a sticker. It's your thumb,
Yeah.
and it just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense.
It's
So
not, it's not rocket science. We can do this if we want to, but they want to dupe the people into making think in America that you have a democracy. No, we actually woke up this morning in a real democracy.
So CNN and every other mainstream media source that uses the OAS as a source,
Yeah.
that obviously that's you can't rely on them. It's shitty. It's shitty journalism. That's what that is. So that's what I gotta say, brother. Do you want to say anything? We're live right now.
Me on the show.
This is our good friend Wyatt Reed here from various outlets, but producer for Sputnik as well. What are your thoughts out here on Nicaragua so far, and what you've seen and experienced?
Well, you've already covered a lot of the bases. Obviously, just in speaking with a number of officials here, election officials, anecdotally, they're saying this is the highest turnout they've ever seen. So, despite the wishes of a vocal minority that doesn't even live in the country, it seems that the Nicaraguan people are not bowing down and are not going in for this plan of boycotting the election. You can see this is one of the biggest voting centers in all of Nicaragua in terms of voters who are meant to vote here, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,800 people, and it's functioning extremely efficiently. We see people voting in under 10 minutes. It's something that's pretty incredible for me, for a lot of people in the United States who, it's not strange to spend hours in line, 2, 3, 4 hours, entire elections whose outcome is altered by the inability, the inaccessibility of the elections. It's not a problem here. Another sort of show that basically what we're seeing in the media uh, is a media war, right? We're seeing a dirty war, a low intensity war, an economic war, and a media war, and all of this results in a horrifically distorted version, dystopic version of Nicaragua that when you come here you can't help but reject.
Something that you pointed out that we forgot to point out was the narrative of this hashtag I saw. It was Nicaragua no votas, right? So it was don't vote. So there was a campaign to stop people from voting. Where was that campaign originating from, and who's kind of like trying to push that?
Mhm. Yeah, that comes from again these very unpopular dissident groups who participated, who essentially put on the coup d'état in 2018 that attempted to violently overthrow the government that resulted in over 300 deaths, the majority of them being Sandinista sympathizers or police. Um, these are the groups who are saying don't come and participate in the elections. It's interesting that the United States seem to believe that these months of Mad Max tyranny represented a restoration of democracy in Nicaragua. It was extremely clear that the people didn't feel that way, and I think that again we see that based on the massive voter turnout, that those people, the so-called blue and white civic unity group, they don't represent the wishes of the Nicaraguan people. What they represent is the wishes of the American embassy.
Absolutely. In my I've been seeing around the country because we've been traveling since from Managua. We've seen around Managua and now here. I've been seeing the FSLN flag like everywhere. Like there's a lot of I'm seeing a lot of support, and that's Daniel Ortega's party, correct? So from your perspective, from what you've seen so far, what do you think? Is there a lot of support for Ortega? Is that what you see?
The Sandinista Front is the only significant political force in Nicaraguan politics. It's the only one that represents a real core constituency. And the reason that it is in power today, it was not overthrown in the coup d'etat in 2018. And why is the Frente Sandinista so popular? It has to do with the massive development that they have provided to people who previously had no access to education, healthcare, people unable to access school because they didn't have a chair to bring with them to sit on during the day. Um, People unable to access the healthcare, everything privatized during the years of neoliberal governance. Uh, these are the people who we're watching today come out and vote in support of a government that represents their desires and their wishes. Last time I was in Bilwi was about 10 years ago. It was not to sound too Trumpian, it was kind of a shithole. It was very undeveloped, no roads really anywhere.
Really?
I mean, you had nothing paved basically. You know, the fact that there are pavers all over the road here. We found out that it was essentially 1 mile of paved road when the Sandinistas took over. Now it's over 500 in terms of day-to-day living for people in the United States. That might be hard to imagine, but that massively shortens your transit time, massively improves your quality of life, and in a way that maybe it's difficult for us to imagine, but here it's not because they've seen it with their own eyes.
And there's been a lot of electricity. Can you talk on the power lines? Because I've been seeing all these power lines everywhere.
The electrification campaign, again, we found out that just within the past week, uh, the people in Bilwi were able to get connected to the central power grid that connects them to central Nicaragua, to the rest of the region. That means that there won't be daily rolling power blackouts, that their energy supply is steady, that it's dependable. And again, you know, what happens when the power goes out? Well, that means that maybe all your food spoils. You know, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a real game changer in terms of your day-to-day living. So the electrification campaign, the building of schools and hospitals, of roads, all of these are that's the reason why, you know, people they're not out here voting for Danielle because they think he was you know, polite to the opposition. No, they're out here voting for their own interests, which is what any smart segment of the population, any informed population would do. Vote in your own best interests, not in the interests of wealthy elite.
Thank you so much, Wyatt. I mean, if there's anything else you want to tell the audience, please tell them, or where they can find you and everything.
Find me on Twitter at Wyatt Reed 13. I'll be posting some updates today and in the future. And you can also find me at Sputnik News. I'm also at Press TV. I'll be writing and keeping everybody informed along with these guys, wonderful journalists at the Convo Couch. Thank you for the invitation.
Wyatt Reed, everybody. All right, so I think we're gonna head out, aren't we? All right, let's go.
All right, sign off.
Okay. Well, we could keep live streaming, but
I can cover and follow you.
maybe we'll sign up for now, and we're gonna hit up a couple other voting centers, and we're gonna record some stuff. Be on the lookout for on Rokfin.
See you soon. Combo out.
Rokfin and Twitter. Peace out. Thank you for watching.